Hello everyone, I'm Vanessa and today I'm here to do my October wrap-up. So I got to read some really good books in October, but I didn't get to read nearly as many as I wanted to because it was just a really busy month, and especially I have this one English class that the workload is just like, what the hell? At this point, I'm convinced that he is personally trying to ruin my life. But anyways, I did get to read a few really good books. So the first thing that I read in October was Glasstown, which is a graphic novel about the Brontes and kind of the childhood worlds that they made up and they were writing stories in, and it was really good. It was really interesting. I liked it. After that, I read A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. This is a fantasy and it has two point of view characters. One of them is the Sultana's daughter, who is the princess and the heir to this throne, and then the other one is a guy who has kind of come into her city and he's on this mission to like save his sister from this demon magic thing. I don't want to say too much, but basically they end up working together kind of, but also secretly they're both like trying to kill each other. So we love it. We love to see it. After that, I read The Year of the Witching by Alexis Henderson, and this was really good as well. This is a fantasy, but it's more of like a historical fiction kind of low fantasy. The setting is very much like puritanical 1600s North England. No, not North England. What am I talking about? New England. And in the main character's little town, it's very religious and they have this mythology in their religion about witches and how they're like the enemies and everything. But this girl, the main character, starts having encounters with the witches, and her like origins of her birth and everything are a little bit tied to magic. So she kind of goes on this journey of trying to discover what her mother was up to and what these witches are all about and everything. And it is really good. I was also really impressed with the love interest in this. I find that I love settings like this where they're very patriarchal and very like misogynist against women, and the love interest is a guy who's like in a position of privilege but is straight up like just DTF for burning the patriarchy down with the main character. I love it. I love that so much. Although I don't actually know if the one in this book was quite so radical about it, but you could see that he was rebelling against and questioning his position, and I just love that. After that, I read Horrid by Katrina Lino, and this was so good. It was basically like a haunted house story. You know, this girl and her mom move into her mom's childhood home, this like decrepit old mansion, and creepy supernatural things are happening in the house. And when the girl goes to school and starts making friends, they're all kind of like walking on eggshells around her, and she's getting the feeling that like there's something that she doesn't know about. So it was really fun to be like a little bit spooky and uncover the dark mystery and stuff like that. But I talked about this in my vlog, the ending thing. I'm noticing a lot of endings lately in horror that are coming too fast. And it's not, I guess I didn't explain it well in my vlog, but it's not an open ending that I have a problem with. Open endings, that's fine. I'm not talking about the nature of the ending, I'm talking about the timing of the ending. These endings are just happening like right in the middle of the climax. Like all of the action is happening, like right, like a ghost is chasing you into the building and then suddenly like credits roll. And I don't get that, and I really don't like it in horror books because, like, I'm sorry, you spent this whole book cranking up my emotions and now you're not gonna release? Like, there's no purging, right? Like, I'm just saying, I don't like it. But besides that, this book was really good and really fun to read. After that, I had to read for class The Merchant of Venice, which was actually a lot more fun than I was expecting. I never read this. I guess it's like a comedy, but it's also like kind of messed up. But as usual in Shakespeare, there's a lot of like wittiness and like clever plot turns and stuff like that. It was really fun to read too. Then after that, I read The Jumbies by Tracy Baptiste, and this was for the Black SFF-a-thon. This was the group book, and this was really fun. It's a middle grade, and it's about these kids who kind of start encountering jumbies on their island, which are kind of like malevolent spirit creature things. I really liked it. It was cute and fun, but it was also really touching, and it made me really emotional at times, so I always like that. The last book that I read in October was Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. Finally, this book has been on my TBR for so many years, and finally we read it with the Keep It Classic book club, and I'm so glad that that was the one that got picked. This is a gothic kind of mystery, kind of thrillery story. It's set in, I think, like the 20s or the 30s in kind of high class British society. Our main character, who does not have a name, is a young girl who's not high class, but she ends up meeting and falling in love with Maxim de Winter, who is the owner of the Manderley estate, and they get married very quickly and move into his estate, and there's just something about it that the main character is constantly feeling haunted by like the ghost of his first wife. Rebecca is like everywhere. She can't do anything in this house without thinking about like, what was Rebecca like, and did Rebecca do it this way, or was Rebecca better than her? And I think this book did an amazing job of kind of projecting that like internal insecurity and fear and darkness that she's feeling into like the setting, and making Manderley just like such a foreboding and ominous thing, and like the presence of Rebecca just feels so like looming and haunting. And I really liked this book a lot. I loved the aesthetic, and the writing was so beautiful, and it had me sucked in and on the edge of my seat the whole time. So yeah, if you have also been procrastinating getting to Rebecca, I recommend it. So that is everything that I read in October. I DNF'd These Witches Don't Burn. Not because it was bad, like it was fine. It was just that I had so many other books on my TBR that I wanted to read. And like I said, October was so busy. I had limited time. I really had to like prioritize what was the most important. And then I also started Black Leopard Red Wolf, but I'm only like a little bit over 100 pages in. So definitely not far enough along to talk about it. This is going to be in my November wrap up. So even though I didn't get to read as much as I wanted to, I still got to participate in a lot of really fun readathons and mark off at least some challenges in each of them. Let me know in the comments how your reading in October went, and if you were doing any readathons, how you did with those. I would love to hear from you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope I get to talk to you soon. Bye!